Hey y'all, today we're going to be talking about apartment homesteading. Yeah, homesteading in your apartment. Alright guys, in this apartment homesteading video, I touched on it before in a previous video. Check that out up here. We're going to be talking about specifically homesteading in an apartment. The definition of homesteading is simply to live a lifestyle that is marked by self-sufficiency and providing for one's own as much as possible, more self-reliance. It can be accompanied by making your own stuff or for home use or sale. And one of the things I think of every time I think of homesteading in an apartment is that lady that was at Dollar General and she just swiped all the cans into her grocery cart, and that's sad. That's a woman who does not have confidence in the food she has at home. And that's a big part of homesteading, is making sure you have what you need, so if things go bad for a while, that you will be able to survive or continue as close to undaunted as possible. You got self-reliance, that, you know, we've got solar power. The grid goes down, we won't even know about it. We store water. Our well goes dry, we won't even. Winter time, oh my goodness, we can our food for winter. That's one of the key elements, is preserving food for times when you're going to have less, whether it's in an emergency, whether it's weather, because you can't get to town, don't want to go to town, your car broke down, whatever, or the money. Guys, prices are skyrocketing right now. So let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty of homesteading in your apartment. We are going to talk specifically today about food preservation, dehydration, canning meals. Guys, this is the simplest way to make sure when you need it, you have food. When you make a soup, there might be 2 of you in the apartment. There might be 4 of you in the apartment. I don't know. But let's go with 2, okay? 1 quart jar should make enough soup, stew, or have enough meat or vegetables for a meal. When times get tough, 6-course meals go out the window. Meat, veggies, starch. Boom. That's what you need. Protein, all the good stuff that God gives us right straight from the ground, and the starches and stuff like that. Meat, veggies, starch. You don't want to end up in a position where you are eating stuff you don't like. Don't store something you don't like, or your wife or your husband doesn't like. When you're in an apartment, and you're going to cook stew for 2. Say I'm going to make beef stew. Well, I'm going to make a big pot of beef stew. And out of a big pot of beef stew, you might get 5 quarts, 4 quarts, plus what you're eating that night. You're only going to eat a quart at night. So if you make a 4-quart pot of stew, you should have 1 quart for that night and 3 quarts to put aside to can. You pressure can them up. It's not that hard. It doesn't take all that long. I prefer pressure canning what we can over water bath canning. The Ball Blue Book, I believe it is, the cookbook for canning, will tell you how certain things have to be pressure canned. Certain things can't be pressure canned. So check that out. Do your research. Learn this stuff while you're in your apartment, so you don't have to learn it when you've got a garden to take care of. So you can can soups, stews, veggies, meat. Okay, if there are 2 of you in the apartment, a quart should take care of you for a meal. How many times I have come home after doing, just running all day and whatever, and come home and grab some split pea soup that Wendy canned up when she made split pea soup, or beef stew, or chili, and just dumped it into a pan, heated it up, and mowed down the whole quart myself. But the homesteading lifestyle is self-sufficiency. You want to be able to have what you need when you need it as much as you can and provide that for yourself. Storage in an apartment and in small homesteads, storage can be a problem. Now you say, oh Tracy, you've got 20 acres of land, you've got a nice cabin. Our cabin is 32 foot by 32 foot. Okay, so we are not much bigger as far as warm storage in the winter where we can put our canned goods than a large apartment or medium apartment. I don't even know what they go for anymore, or what they are. A quart canning jar will fit right under a bed. Save the box. When you buy a case of canning jars, save your boxes. Put them back in the box, slide that box right under your bed. Oh, I want some beef stew for dinner tonight, whether it's an emergency or not. I want some beef stew for dinner tonight. Slide that out. Oh, beef stew. You always mark the lids with the date and what is in it. So that gives you a good index. You slide the box out. Oh, it's not in that box. Slide that box over, reach in, grab another box, slide that out. Now I know that cuts down on some storage room. I mean, a lot of people store blankets and different various things under the bed, but it's about priorities. Is your canned goods storage a priority? If it is, great, use it. If it's not, don't use it. That's fine. Self-sufficiency means that you're reliant on you. You're in charge. This ain't Tracy Hand's way to do it. This is quite simply your way to do it. How do you want to do it? Chests. We have a, it's like a hope chest, a small hope chest. It doubles as a seat to put your shoes on by the front door. Put your shoes on, take them off, whatever. And right now that's full of quilts. Now, should we need the room, those quilts can be stored somewhere else. They don't have to be kept frost-free. So even in the winter, they could be put in a heavy plastic bag, Mylar bag, whatever, vacuum sealed and put out in one of our outbuildings. Prioritize your storage for self-sufficiency. Get out of your day-to-day food mindset. Okay, now there is nothing wrong with calling up and saying, honey, on your way home from work, can you pick up a couple subs, or can you pick up a pizza? I just worked my tail off today or whatever, and I don't feel like cooking. There's nothing wrong with that once in a while. However, you want to make sure that that fits in with your self-sustainability mindset and situation. Are you budgeting to buy a piece of property? Get out of the buying food day-to-day mindset. I would suggest going shopping once a week for your items that perish, bread, milk, whatever, and once a month for items that keep longer, that have a longer shelf life. We have a propane refrigerator, and it's not huge. I couldn't afford the humongous ones, which is okay. So when we go shopping, we're limited as to the frozen foods that we can get. A lot of our meat is canned. So plan your meals loosely, weekly or monthly. And when I say loosely, I mean, okay, I'm in the store, I'm only doing grocery shopping today for stored up items. Beef stroganoff, let's go with beef stroganoff. Okay, I'm in the store today and beef stroganoff is something we like to eat. So I am going to buy a package of egg noodles, sour cream, a thing of hamburger meat, whatever I need that I don't already have at home for beef stroganoff. Okay, now that doesn't mean I'm going to eat it this week. That doesn't mean I'm going to eat it tonight. We might be towards the end of the month before we get into that. We might be into next month before we get into that because I've got stuff stored at home. Okay, beef stroganoff, that's one night meal. Maybe 2 nights because you can make it stretch. And I'm not sure on this. Check for safety. Wendy is the one I check with. But Can you can beef stroganoff and store it? That would be awesome. Buy ingredients rather than whole meals. Ingredients tend to store better than whole meals. Okay, I've got some chicken breasts at home, so I am going to buy some Swiss cheese and I'm going to buy the rest of the ingredients that I need to make chicken cordon bleu. It's not that expensive. Now, to buy chicken cordon bleu might be a little more expensive, but to buy the ingredients, it can be a lot cheaper. And man, it stores so much better. It is a lot easier to store salt, pepper, oregano, thyme, all your spices separately than to store a whole meal. Guys, while you're in your apartment, learn to bake. Start collecting recipes. Learn how to sew. All these things you can do. When you make a batch of food, go ahead and make more than you need, can the rest, and store it. You might not have a lot of storage space, but you'd be surprised if you could use a little more imagination with your storage. It's all on your priorities, guys. Start prioritizing being self-sufficient. And you can do that in your apartment. Keep working on finding that friend that's got a small plot of land that would let you do a garden in. Man, my dad made a deal with an acquaintance of his and the guy had a huge field, and Pa, I believe it was all potatoes. Pa just planted potatoes. He gardened that way because he didn't have room on his land to do it. You're only limited by your imagination. Start now. It might be years before you can get your land. Start budgeting now and saving. Wendy and I budget everything. We have all of our bills that we pay with the checking account. Then we have a couple loans from a different bank that we take out as cash and deposit in that different bank ourselves. We allot ourselves so much money a month for groceries, so much money a month for food, so much money a month per each of us for spending money. We've been like that forever. It's not easy. It's not always easy, especially, I mean, the whole allotting each other spending money is a recent development. I mean, we started giving Wendy money when she quit smoking. The money that she would spend on cigarettes, that was part of her motivation to quit smoking. Guys, easiest way to store meat is on the hoof. If you can, go in with that friend who has a shed, get some chickens. Doesn't have to be on your property. Homesteading an apartment. It can be done. I know, I've done it. I mean, granted, we didn't have 3 years of food put up and a garden every year and all that stuff, but we were as self-sufficient as we could. Don't get caught not knowing what you're going to eat tonight because the store shelves are dry. Homestead in your apartment. All right, guys, if you like this content and got any value from this content, go ahead and click like, subscribe, and click that little notification bell so that you get notified every time we come out with new content, which is every Monday and every Friday we post new content to this channel. Y'all have a great day. God bless. Keep on homesteading, even if it's in your apartment.